Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Love Ebegbe, and if you're new here, you're very much welcome. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do well to hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you'll be the first person to get notified when I pop new channel. And to my returning subscribers, thank you guys for tuning into today's video. So on today's video, I am going to be sharing with you guys possible interview questions that your employer or recruiter will ask you if you're going for an healthcare or carer job. If this sounds interesting to your ear, please do watch this video to the end.
I could be the best thing in your life. You got me singing. You look like a guy you could dream me.
So the number one possible questions that your recruiter or employer is likely to ask you is, what has attracted you to the care profession? For those of you who don't have experience, these questions are likely to be thrown at you because your CVs would have shown that you have no experience. So they want to know what really attracted you to the care profession. It will be possible to answer questions that will interest the recruiter, and don't stutter. Don't start doing even if you have to do at least it should not be so persistent or too much, because it makes the recruiter feel like you are not ready, you don't know what you want, you just want to be on this position, if that makes sense. So the number one question your recruiter is likely to ask you is, what has attracted you to the care profession? An employer will want to make sure you are a good match for the care assistant role with appropriate motivation. This is your chance to talk about why you applied for this particular job and your passion for helping others. So if you have done a voluntary work before, it not necessarily mean a job if you don't have experience. So most of us have done voluntary work. I'm doing a voluntary work as a carer for my children. I'm their carer because they're still little. I have to still wipe their bum. I have to change their nappy. I have to feed them. That's basically what you would do for the aged people when you become a carer or healthcare assistant. So just let them know that you like taking care of people, you like being there for people. Go as far as telling them examples, cite an example for them. There was a time that your grandmother was very sick or your neighbor was very sick. Our children have traveled out of the country, their children are no longer there. What they do, they send money for her to go and buy things for herself or feeding. Then one day you found out that she was sick. You stayed with her, you prepared food for her, make sure she give her medication like the doctor instructed or physician instructed. Just incite examples like that. And your recruiter, I'm sure they will be wild to know that, okay, you haven't got experience, actual experience, but you know what it is, or you have an idea what it is to care for someone who is aged or someone who is a resident, So this is your chance to talk about why you have applied for this particular job and your passion for helping others. If there's anything specific about a company that makes it stand out to you, this is your chance to show off a little and prove that you have taken time to research the company that is interviewing you or you are interviewing for. So if you have researched about the company is more of taking care of people with dementia, you can speak about, there was a time that saw a neighbor who was not well, had dementia. She was in your neighborhood, you saw her, you spoke to her, you knew that she had dementia. Just speak about what the company stands out for, what the company represents, so that the company or your recruiter will know that you actually know what the company stands and you are willing to go by their rules and regulations. And the second one is, what relevant experience do you have with respect to this position? This is quite another good interview question. So your interviewer or your recruiter will ask you, what relevant experience do you have with respect to this position? Like if you're applying for a carer job, maybe in dementia homes, they'll ask you questions like this. Have you gotten experience working with people with dementia or mental health issues? Okay, you've got no experience. You can cite into, I have had people or have had neighbors, or my grandmother or my mother had dementia, so I took care of her. My mother had this sort of mental health issue, I took care of her. So it gives the recruiter an idea that you know what it is that you've done before. You've got an experience, not actual experience, but experience of what it is you're talking about. So it's important to be specific and keep your point focused. Stop jumping and confusing yourself and the recruiter. Sometimes they'll just look at you like this and hear you finish talking, and they'll tell you, thank you, we'll get back to you, and that's the end of it. So make sure that your points are interesting and that you're keeping your points focused in one particular direction, not moving from A to pillar to post or A to B and confusing yourself and your recruiter. Because sometimes when you say some things, you feel like What have I said? Does it even make sense? It doesn't matter. Yeah, it happens sometimes. And it's important that you keep your points focused, drawing on areas of your experience that has prepared you to be successful in this role. So make sure you point out your experience on this particular role you're applying for. So it keeps you updated, it keeps you prepared to get successful in the role at the end of your interview. You may not have direct experience, like I said, you may not have a direct experience previously within care, but don't panic. The care industry has entry level jobs, which means that you don't have to know everything before you begin. Yes, like right now, the UK is in high demand of carers in the UK, and they are willing to take anyone who does not even have experience, who is willing to do the job. They are willing to take you up, train you, give you all the necessary certificates that you need to boost your CV, and give you all the necessary training that you need to get up on the job. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to get an experience. Don't panic about that, but just make sure that if you are saying something, even if you don't have experience, but it's making sense to you and the recruiter, which means you do not have to know everything before you begin. Talk about your transferable skills you've achieved in your previous jobs. If you were a mechanic before, transfer your skills into the care job, because at a point in time you will be a mechanic on that job, because there will be a time that some mechanical problems on that job, you will need to now transfer your mechanical skills from your previous job into the care job. So even if you don't have any skills before, don't panic, don't stutter, don't be afraid. Transfer your skills. At least we learn every day, and some care homes or agencies are willing to train you on the job. Talk about your transferable skills. What qualities do you have that make you a top candidate for this position? Tell them about yourself. Sell yourself. You are a product. You have to speak about yourself. Say good things about yourself. Like when I'm talking to an interviewer, I say things about myself, like I'm proud of myself, because if you want my services truly, you will employ me regardless. So tell them your qualities, all the qualities you've possessed, all the qualities, the skills you've attained, your qualification, everything. Sell yourself to the recruiter. It's not left for them to decide what they want. The third questions they're going to ask you, possible questions they're going to ask you, is tell me about your ability to work under pressure. In fact, this question is the most popular questions in every interview we attend in this world with a company. Like, all companies ask this question because they want to know your strengths and your weakness. So always tell them your strength first, then tell them your weakness. Telling them your weakness doesn't really make you feel like, yes, you can't do the job. But let them know your strength. Let your strength be more than your weakness, because that's what they want to hear, right? They know everyone is not perfect. Definitely you have something that breaks you down, something that weighs you down, which is your weakness. But tell them your strength. So tell me about your ability to work under pressure. That is when you start talking. This is a great time to talk about your strengths. Have you ever had to deal with a difficult situation? And if so, how did you manage a positive outcome? Have you dealt with a difficult situation? Some difficult situation might be, there was a time I was working as a mental health nurse. I went to this home. When I got to the home, this particular resident is their home, their private home, not the residential home they put all of them. This is a private home. So when I got there, this resident locked, or this patient, or this person, mental health man, or I don't know how to put it, locked the door and was saying, please, you cannot leave me. I am so lonely. I am so this, so I'm so that. And to me, I'm already scared because I know he has a mental health issue. So what do I do? What is my strength? How do I manage to give a positive outcome on that particular position? So this particular person carried knife. See, if they kill you in this country, there's nothing they will do. They will never do anything. Government will not do anything. I guess they will compensate your family. Maybe they will compensate. Maybe. But what did I do? Some persons will panic and they'll fall down. They will die. They will even cause a sort of confusion between themselves and the person who is endangering their life. This one was holding knife. I started pleading at first. Don't worry, calm down. I'm here with you. I'll take care of you. I'll do this. I'll do that. I started promising things just to calm the person down. Let them feel that they are loved. They are not lonely. At a point, I said, don't worry. I'll spend the night here in the house with you. I'll talk to you with so many things. I started putting soften words on the person's heart. Then he became calm. I'm like, you had to get rid of that knife. If you hold a knife, I won't be able to talk to you. I won't take care of you. I won't be close to you. So you have to take care of that knife. And he was like, okay, that's true. That's true. He went to the kitchen and dropped the knife. When he dropped the knife, he came back. I was like, oh, that's good. Then sit down, let's talk. We are friends, right? So we don't need to threaten each other. And we started talking like that. At the end of the day, I said, I was still panicking. I was still scared because anything can happen. He can decide to strangle me. He can decide to run back because he was behind the door. He can decide to run back and get the knife and come back to hurt me. But I just said, don't worry, let me get something from my car. I got you chocolates from my car. Let me go and get it. My dear, that is how I got outside. I ran away. He started running after me. Please come back. Please come. It's not me and you, because when you kill me, I still have children. When you kill me, there's nothing I can do. So sometimes it's very okay. Like, it's very good to be weak. How did I work under pressure? I was panicking, but I was able to calm the situation down. For some persons, they will start shouting, help me, help me. Some persons, they'll start ringing the phone and calling. But I know if I do that, it would put me on the edge of being killed or put me in a danger that I don't want to find myself in. So that was the best option I could opt into. So anyone can do otherwise, can decide to fall, can decide to faint or panic or start screaming for help or do anything. But the best thing is to calm that person down and talk to the person with love, with calm voice, and assure them what it is they feel they need from you. This is a great time to talk about your strengths. It's a difficult situation. If it's so, how did you manage to? Example will be helpful for the interviewer to get an idea of how you worked when you are going through a tough time. So, how do you do it? So this is possible questions. You just give examples of questions like this I have just given you. It could not be the same scenario, but something like, as in, you were not so tough. It was tough on you, but you were willing to come out in a positive outcome for you and the person that you were involved in. The other a possible interview question: how would you handle someone who is confused or upset? You are working in a care home, so these questions are very common. How will you do it? You will meet people that are upset on that job, people that are dramatic. The dramatic ones are the ones that they don't want anything, but they will buzz on you. They will keep buzzing, pressing the buzzer just to get your attention. And when you come to them, they tell you, "Oh, sorry, there's nothing. I just felt I should just call you. There's nothing you can do." They are aged people. It's their life now. It's a reality. So how would you handle someone who is confused or upset? So that's where you come in as a carer. It's your duty to calm people who are confused. Some persons are confused, don't know what to do. How do you calm them? Some of them is sweet talking, is taking them out on a walk, is giving them their favorite TV program, is talking to them, is giving them cigarettes to smoke, is giving, is just joking with them. Being a strong communicator is crucial when it comes to being a care assistant. Try and think of a time where you would have been in this kind of situation and how you managed to handle it. When you were in this kind of position, how did you manage this situation? Some of you say, I will not know what to do. I will just pray for the person. Are they looking for your prayers? Do you think you're in your country? You are here. Everything is practical. Everything you put into work. What are you going to pray about? They didn't tell you they need deliverance that you're praying. They need a practical example. So you have to tell them a time where you will go out on your own to make someone who is confused, someone who is going through tough time. It could be that they are going through stress, mental health stress, and they need to relieve that stress. So how do you help them? Take them out on a walk. Give insights. Example, I will take them out on a walk. I will make sure that they are relieved. If they smoke, give them cigarettes. Give them a drink, give them coffee, give them tea, sit with them, calm them down, talk words to them, talk love to them. Those sort of things, it gives you the interviewer will even be surprised that yes, all these sort of things if you don't have experience, but you have an idea of what it is to calm someone down when they're confused or tough. Dementia is one of the most common conditions. Yes. So I was giving an example the other day that there are some dementia patients. They have been in that care home for 20 years or 15 years. And they will ask you, what are you doing there? That's confusion. That's dementia. That is where you come in. You are here with your loved ones. I'm here for you. My name is, you introduce yourself. Yeah, I've been your carer. I've been taking care of you. This is your home now. And I'm your personal carer. I'm your carer. I'm here to show you love. I'm here to show you everything that will make you happy. that is where you come in. Dementia is one of the most common conditions that our carers support people with on a daily basis. So being able to cope in a calm and safer manner will highlight your strong interpersonal skills. So it's important that when you meet this sort of people, these are the skills that you would use to make your job easy for you, and to transfer those skills into putting that person who is a dementia patient or who is confused or tough, to make them feel better. I don't know if that makes sense. Then the other tips or possible questions that will be asked is, how would your friends and family describe you as a person? If they ask you now, how is this person? I don't know how someone would describe me, but if someone is to describe you, how would they describe you? When you put your reference down, they will call your reference and ask your reference should describe you. Some of you, references are very bad though. Sometimes if you're a referee, that is not making them give you job, because if you should call your referee now and pretend to be an employer and ask your referee a question about you, maybe that's the reason why they're not giving you a job. Just so you know, actually that's a joke anyways. So if they should call your family or friends, they should describe you. Would they describe that you are caring? Would they describe that you are readily available? Would they describe that you are dependable? Would they describe that you are nice? Would they describe that you are humble? If they don't describe you in any of these things, my dear, you won't get the job. So this is a very popular question in interviews. As it gives great insight of you as an individual, it gives like an insight of who you are as a person or as an individual. What are your best qualities? Do you have the patience of a saint? All of us are not saints, but sometimes we try to keep our patience to a certain level as human beings. There are some things that residents will do to you. You want to slap them, you want to beat them, but that is when your skill come in as a person. Are you patient enough to be able to see all those things as their age people? They don't know what they are doing. Are you going to get provoked and say, I'm not working again, I'm going back, I'm leaving, I don't want to work again, I can't do this kind of job, it's not my type of job? Will you be that kind of person? Do you put everyone else before you? They will ask you, don't lie. Sometimes if you lie, it might help you. Sometimes if you don't lie, they'll just know that you're lying. I can't put anybody before me, but I can be there for everybody. So my possible capability or my possible best, I can be there for anybody. Yes, but these are questions that they will ask you. If you feel that you will lie and let your recruiter know that you will always be there for your resident, definitely you should tell them you will be there for your resident, because that is what your job attains. Because when it's residents say they want this one and you are very busy, you have to leave what you are doing and go and do it for that resident. So do you put everyone else before yourself? Is that the kind of person you are? Is that the kind of individual that you are? These are questions that will be asked. What is your understanding of confidentiality? This question is very important. So I went to this one today. That was how she was doing this, she was doing that. Confidentiality in your workplace is very professional. It's very important. What happens in your workplace should remain in your workplace. Even if you don't have to share everything. Some persons go as far as sharing details of residents, their records, everything to outsiders, to the third party. Is not necessary, it's not important. Confidentiality is really important if you are going to work in a social care role, because you cannot start talking about people's illness to someone else. It doesn't even make sense to me. I don't see it as something that makes sense. From keeping personal conversation to yourself to not sharing details such as address or phone number. Some persons share address, phone numbers to other persons because the person is vulnerable. The person wants to be around people that will love them. You start sharing their contact address or email to third party to contact them. It doesn't make sense. Confidentiality is a part of good care practice and should be taken very seriously. So you have to be very serious in keeping every details about your resident to yourself. Your spouse should not even know, but most of us that work in care home, we want to share our daily activities, how our day went with our family and friends. It happens like that, but sometimes keep it in a very low level. Don't share details, don't go into details, or you know what I mean. So confidentiality is very important in care practice and everyone should take it professional. What is your understanding of a personal care? Some persons don't understand personal care. This question is very important. In fact, if you answer this particular question very well, you are likely to get to your job, because it gives an insight, it gives that understanding to your recruiter that you know what you are coming to do. What is personal care? Personal care is just like taking care of your newborn baby. In the morning, you bathe your newborn baby, right? you will feed them. Apart from breastfeed, you will feed them, you will bathe them, you will dress them, you put cartoon for them, you do things for them, take them out on a walk in their pram. Most of them will have wheelchair. You take them on a wheelchair, take them for doctor's appointment. You actually take your child for a doctor's appointment. So it's just basically what you do for your child. Relate what you do for your child as a baby or as a little baby. Transfer that particular skill as a carer or for personal care for aged people. Although personal care is not the sole purpose of a care assistant job, it's a crucial for the welfare of the service user. In your social care interview, you will need to express your understanding of personal care. So when they are asking you questions, when they get to these questions, give an example of what a personal care is. Not all your residents that will be dependent on you giving their personal care, but majority of them, you will meet the ones that are dependent on you for everything. Medication, feeding, bathing, changing their pads, cleaning their bottom, changing them when they pee on the bed, spreading their bed sheets, cleaning their room, everything. So basically that's what a personal care mean. So you have to give an example. You have to talk about what a personal care mean or what you understand by giving someone personal care and the importance of being able to carry it out professionally. So you should understand what it means to carry professionally. When a resident say, I don't want to change my nappy, don't say, I will just spank you now, I will slap you now, you do turn your bottom, let me clean it. No, you try to pet them. Hi, I'm willing to give you personal care. Can you cooperate with me? Can you turn so that I can clean you up? Can you stand up so I can help you dress up? Even if they are reluctant, just tell them, okay, I won't force you, but when you're ready, just let me know. Don't get me saying, do you think I'm here to waste time? Do you think I'm here to do this one? No, that is what they mean professionally. So are you willing to carry it professionally? Are you willing to carry the personal care professionally? Please give an example of a time you went out of your way to help someone. These questions is very important. In fact, this question is number 2 questions that most recruiter or interviewers ask. So what time did you go out on your way to help someone? You start explaining. Don't be beating around the bush, just go straight to the point. The clue is in the title of the care assistant. For the role of this one, in a social care interview, the interviewer will want to hear about a time you went the extra mile and truly cared for someone. So they want to know how you went an extra mile to care for someone. Some of you, when you see some residents that are dirty, they've not had a shower, they are smelling, or they are not taking care of them, they are wet down there, you just act like you don't care. It's not your business as long as it's not yet your shift. That's where that love, you have to have love in your heart to be able to take up on this job. Like I said in my previous video, that people are running away because you don't come to something that you're not used to and you can never get used to. You'll not be able to do it. It could be a friend, a family member, or a complete stranger. So talk about a time you went out of your way. You can say you had a neighbor who was very sick and you needed to travel for a friend's wedding. This particular neighbor did not have any family member, and you know that if you leave that neighbor all by herself, you might come back and she might not be in a very good state, that you had to cancel your wedding to attend to this thing. All those set of things. Then these people, love used to melt their heart. They want to hear how you love somebody. I don't know if it don't make sense. They want to know how you went out of your way to help someone, because they feel like you have to really have love in you, patience in you, to be able to take care of someone. So cite those sort of example. Your neighbor, you attending a wedding, and you can't leave your neighbor all by herself. She didn't have any family member, she was aged. Give a particular age so they will know what it is that you're talking about. Maybe volunteer with a charity. Could be volunteer. Most of us, where we come from, we don't have charity organizations. I'm sorry. Volunteer with a charity, or maybe during COVID you did the weekly shop for vulnerable neighbors. So if you are here in the UK and you're applying for this position, give a time where you went out of your way. There are aged people in your neighborhood. What you do is knock on their door, speak to them, tell them to write you a list and send it to your WhatsApp number, and you go shopping for them. When you come back from shopping, you drop the items by their door, knock on their door, and they pick up the items. That's what you did during time of COVID. It's like it gives you an edge. All those sort of exam, they ask you questions, even if you don't need to explain, so just go straight into examples. Cite examples for them. It makes it easier for for the recruiter, and majority of them will be answering, yeah, that's good. It gives you that edge. Like, it makes the recruiter understand what it is you are talking and where you are coming from. They will not ask you what is your availability. They want to know, are you always readily available to work, even when they don't require your service. They just want to know that when they need someone to cover a particular shift, you are there to cover up that person. So being flexible in social care is a must. As employees do not work conventional hours, a lot of care roles will require you to work evenings and weekends. It's important to discuss this with your interviewer to get an idea of the company needs. The care sector can be a great option if you need to work to fit around a busy schedule of childcare, application, or study. So if you fall into the category of childcare, maybe you have children who still needs you around, they can let them know that weekends you are here for your children, evenings you can't do evening shift because you have to sleep with your children, you have to sleep with your children, mornings you can't work mornings because you have to take your children to school. And if you are students, you can say, okay, weekends work fine for me because Monday to Friday I go to school, only weekends is when I don't go to school. And if you have any obligations or you have any other needs, you can let them know that this is what you do. They are very, very understanding. Then they will give you their options of what it is that you can fit into their needs. I don't know if that makes sense. Then make sure you just ask general questions. Then let them know what is available for you. Ask them questions, what they have, and let them know what it is you have. It's negotiable. Yeah, I have children, I need to be there for my children. This is what time, this is a particular time that fits me. This is when my husband will come back from school. This is when my husband will come back from work to look after the children. Then I can work this particular shift. Then the next one is, do you have any question? They will not ask you, do you have any question? So just, if you've gone to their website, you've read everything about them, that is when it comes in. Now answer, yes, I have a question. The question is, what if I cannot work this particular shift? What if I meet a resident who is abusive to me? What do I do? What if I don't come early for a shift? What do I do? Ask them general questions. They are always ready to answer you. Interview works both ways. Like I said, it's me and you. Me and you. If you give me your option, I give you my option. Then we'll come to a particular space and we'll now discuss further. A company is looking to see if you are the right fit for them. You should also be exploring whether they are the right fit for you. It's not always you that always right fit for you. Sometimes there are some companies that will reach out to me and I go on their website to read about them and they're not the right fit for me. I don't reply their emails, or if I have to, I do, but if I don't have to, I don't reply at all. So you must not always be the fit for a company. Let a company be a fit for you. So if a company says it's only morning shifts they have, definitely it's not a fit for you. You cannot force yourself and say, okay, I will manage. There will be a time where you must attend every shift, and if you don't attend that compulsory shift, it becomes a problem for you and your recruiter. So make sure that a company is a fit for you and not just you being a fit to them. This is your chance to ask any questions you may have about the company or the role itself. It's also a great opportunity to really show your interest. So let them know that if you're interested. Sometimes when you start stuttering, you start doing the recruiter might just feel that you are being reluctant to work with them or you don't have interest. Some of them will ask you, are you sure you want to do this job? Are you sure? You can go home and think about it. That's what they will ask you. So make sure you let them know that you are readily available to take up on the job or you are interested. Don't give them that idea that you are being forced to take up on the job if you are offered the job. We suggest coming up with 4 or 5 questions prior to the interview in case any are answered during the earlier discussion. For example, so if you are coming for an interview, like I said, go to their website, read everything about them. Definitely they have do's and don'ts. Most companies have it. Learn to read about them so that when you come to the interview, they will give you time to ask questions. They will also give you time to think about what it is you want to ask. So make sure your questions are really available to ask your interviewer or your recruiter or your employer so that they have an idea of what it is, you understand what the company stands for, or what company represents. And examples are, what does the training process look like? So most companies, they want to train you, or most recruiters, they want to train you. Ask them, what does the training look like? Some recruiters don't offer pay during your training. Some recruiters offer training for 5 days, 3 days, and it can be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., or any time. So some of them don't offer pay. So you need to ask the recruiter if they pay during those training or not, so you know if you are ready to spend those time getting trained. You can ask, what does this training process look like, just for you to have an idea what the training looks like, whether you have to be coming to the office space every day, or you have to be coming to work every day, or they will be training you online. You go as far as asking what career progression is available as a carer. Ask them all the benefits that a carer might have when you start on the job, just so you have all the informations. They will answer you, but if you start in, they will just feel like this person is someone who can use. But if you come readily available, if you come ready to ask the questions, to know everything about them, then they'll be really serious to answer your questions, that you are really ready to take up on the job, you know. So ask them about your career progression, if it's available as a carer, what it is, the benefits that you will gain as a carer when you start on the job. Then you go as far as asking, what kind of support can I expect to receive? Who will I be interacting with day to day? What kind of support can I expect to receive, and who will I be interacting with day to day? So really ask them those kind of questions. What support are you expecting from them, and what are your daily interaction with, you know. Our advice to you is, do your research, create a list of solid examples, and practice until you feel ready. So like I said, go to their website, get every information you need to ask them. They're always ready to ask you. In fact, they will ask you, are you sure? Do you have a question? Do you want to ask me a question? So they want to know everything that you need to start on the job. Like, they want to know, have an understanding that, yes, are we on the same page? Do you get what it is I am talking about? You know, those sort of things. I hope these tips or possible questions I have talked about to answer interview questions was helpful to you. Please, if you have watched this video to this end, please do well to give it a thumbs up, share this video, like, and if you haven't subscribed, please, I don't know what you're waiting for, please do hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get notified each time I pop new videos on my channel. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.